The creators of South Park are being threatened with possible assassination.
South Park's spoof of the Prophet Muhammad is drawing death threats.
Whoa, we're not advocating violence. What do you mean?
Right.
Are you afraid that if the network allows you to unveil the Prophet Muhammad, that you will be bombed?
The year is 2010. When you say TikTok, people only think about the hit song from Kesha, and when you turn on the TV, South Park is causing international catastrophe. And I do mean that, literally, with no exaggeration, because it's all due to this South Park episode that only aired a single time. For 3 hours, what was supposed to be a celebration of South Park's 200th episode turned into its biggest controversy yet. The episode 200 starts innocently enough, with Mr. Garrison's class taking a trip to the fudge packing factory. Okay, maybe innocent wasn't the right word. I mean, they actually are packaging fudge at this factory, but you know what I mean.
And here's where all the fudge is put into boxes to be shipped all over the world.
Kind of like Carbon's dad shipped out on him. I have a dad, butthole. My mom is my dad. Guys, stop! All you're doing is rehashing a bunch of old stuff.
Ooh, you know when South Park breaks the fourth wall, it's about to go down. Although, to be fair, the guys are usually pretty reserved with getting on Cartman for a lack of a dad. I know I wouldn't be. Also, yeah, in case you didn't know, Cartman's mom is supposedly also his dad. Don't ask questions, I don't have answers. At the fudge packing factory, the boys run into Tom Cruise, who is adamantly packing fudge.
Hey guys, check it out. Tom Cruise is a fudge packer.
What did you call me?
I mean, he's in full fudge packer's costume, out in the open doing it. Yet quickly gets defensive with the children, who keeps calling him, well, a fudge packer.
Dude, you are in a fudge factory packing fudge.
Oh, that does it. I will sue you.
Not even 2 minutes in, and already we've spent most of it being all meta. And yeah, if you couldn't tell by now, the episode really heavily relies on calling back to moments in South Park's past. I mean, it's the 200th episode after all. Of course they're going to do that. And what better way to celebrate than to revisit all the controversies that almost got this show taken off the air? Cut to the next scene, and Tom Cruise is hosting a party for just about every celeb in South Park has lampooned on up to that point.
Shockingly, I've just been slandered once again in the town of South Park. I know you all can relate to. Oh, sure can. Now that can down.
Feels like South Park's flexing its muscles on all the people it's ticked off over the years.
All of us together can put a stop to slander coming from that town once and for all. No longer will they make snide remarks about whoever they want.
Yeah! Go ahead. Now, it's okay to pause and Google the celebs you don't recognize. I know I did. South Park is what keeps them relevant. That said, despite some of them being more recognizable than the others, all of them have the same common enemy.
That town thinks they can say whatever they want about people and get away with it.
If anybody has a gripe against that, it's me.
Thank the heavens there isn't a religion based around Paris Hilton yet, or else they would have been fuming at that classless depiction of their god. The John Travolta cultists are used to it. They know how to handle it. The celebs announced their plan to class action lawsuit South Park out of existence, with all the blame falling on Stan for instigating the whole Tom Cruise fudge packing thing. Desperate to save the town of South Park, Randy takes Stan to the fudge factory to apologize. Tom tells him there's only one way for him to pull his lawsuit. He wants to meet someone. Who, you may ask?
Sure, who is it? We can get anybody for you. Muhammad, prophet of the Muslim faith.
Oh boy, alright, that's gonna be an issue. For anyone who may need a quick history lesson, Season 10's Cartoon Wars 2-parter was exclusively about Muhammad and censorship, so Tom asking for him here is a bit like asking Randy to pull a Jackosaurus from a hat.
Mr. Cruz, if there's anybody else we could try to bring to town, we could— No! Just him! Get Muhammad to appear in South Park, or your little town is done!
And if you thought the meta was done, oh, no, you're in for a treat. Randy goes to South Park Town Hall, where a fierce debate begins as to whether or not it's been long enough to where it may be okay to depict Muhammad, and the risks of doing so. Is this a representation of the writer's room? Conversations with Comedy Central? Discussions between the entire world? Yes.
Maybe enough time has passed that now it's okay to show Muhammad.
Can't believe we are dealing with this Muhammad thing again.
For a small town in Colorado, they do deal with the prophet of the Muslim faith a lot more than you'd think. Maybe Muhammad just likes that fresh alpine mountain air. I know I don't. And as it turns out, Muhammad has shown up in South Park before in all of his uncensored glory way back in Season 5, Super Best Friends, which we gleefully recapped here. Stan recounts to the town hall Stan did in fact see Muhammad, and as such, may be aware of his whereabouts.
Oh, and what? And he was just out in the open where everyone could see him and nobody got bombed?
Dude, it was totally fine.
2001 was a simpler time, Mr. Garrison. It was famously very peaceful. But really, Garrison's point of it suddenly being bad to show Muhammad when it was fine for years is the core point Matt and Trey are trying to drive home here. And as this episode goes on, it just gets more and more apparent.
I've done a lot of research and I've completed a sketch of what Muhammad could look like today. No, don't! that okay to show?
I don't know. Guess we'll see.
Randy's Muhammad ducked the censors. I guess Comedy Central thought his art stylings were respectful. I mean, hey, Randy Marsh is a man of taste. That's gotta be why. Back in Tom Cruise's scenic mountain mansion, we get to figure out exactly why the celebs want Muhammad. No, it isn't to cause controversy so YouTubers like me can talk about it decades later. It's because Muhammad is immune from being made fun of.
By taking what Muhammad has, we would all be safe from ridicule, like Tim Burton here.
Yeah, I'm cutting the clip there. We don't need to disrespect any mall goths or emo girls from 2005. They're my protected class, and I'm afraid of what they might do to me. But Tom's point of utilizing Muhammad for his apparent invincibility to criticism, again, is Matt and Trey speaking through the fudge packer, cockpit specialist, Tom Cruise. Yeah, Matt and Trey are trying to say it's ridiculous to give Muhammad that type of power. That immunity is not inherent to being a religious deity. It's inherent to nothing, because nothing is above being made fun of. That's Matt and Trey's whole philosophy, at least. Bickering amongst themselves and trying to figure out how exactly to handle the Southpark situation, the celebs get a visit from the one person who may know how to truly get under Southpark's skin.
It's one of the kids from Southpark that slandered me.
I didn't come for myself. I'm just an escort for another celebrity who wants to get in on your lawsuit.
Who?
And luckily for us, this time Ben Affleck is nowhere to be seen all episode. Yep, it's the return of Jennifer Lopez, because of course Cartman had to get involved on the side of evil while also not really technically getting involved. Also, yeah, don't question it, Cartman's hand is Jennifer Lopez in the world of South Park.
Yes, I am Jennifer Lopez, and I like tacos and burritos.
Or at least it seems that way. See, actually, the hand is a master con artist named Mitch Connor who wants to scam the world for all it's got. Make sense? No? Good. After a quick commercial break, we get a throwback intro for the Super Best Friends, which means
to right that which is wrong, and to serve all mankind.
We get the first look at Muhammad, who is a black censor bar.
Muhammad!
And to clarify, yes, Matt and Trey, not South Park, did this one. Keep that in mind for later. And like anything that's behind a censor bar, people are going to be inclined to want to see it. Visiting the Super Best Friends, Kyle and Stan are told a lot has changed since the last time they all linked up, and that showing the prophet of the Muslim faith is a total cultural no-no now.
Muhammad cannot make public appearances. We simply cannot risk any violence from the Muslim people.
Oh, not you guys too. Jesus Christ.
Even the Super Best Friends succumb to online trolls when profits are at risk and people may be offended. The 2000s are weird. Cable channels still had stuff to lose. After brainstorming ways to get him into South Park without being seen, the greatest philosophical minds of all time, Stan and Kyle, agree to bring Muhammad into town on a U-Haul, which gets the stamp of approval from giant ChatGPT Moses.
I guess that would be okay.
Back with the celebs, Tom Cruise announces plans to harvest Muhammad's goo. And yes, that's exactly what they say, his goo, to make themselves impervious to criticism. It was never about the money. It was always about the goo.
Muhammad is the only person in the world that can't get whipped on. Those celebrities want his goo.
In context, this makes perfect sense, but if someone heard you say it, they'd probably suggest you get your head checked. That's actually the case with most of what Mitch Connor says, anyway. Pulling up in the U-Haul to South Park, Muhammad is still unwilling to show himself and get out of the U-Haul, that is, until Randy, being the innovator he is, suggests putting him in a sports mascot costume as the celebs prepare to head to South Park to meet Muhammad.
All right, the limo's here. Muhammad, thanks again for doing this.
No, it's fine. I just didn't expect Muhammad to be so college dropout Kanye core. Everything is going fine with the celebrities, ready to pick Muhammad up, but in typical South Park fashion, peace never comes easy. Out of nowhere, Mr. Garrison receives a bomb threat, which quickly turns into...
All right, we got him, Tom.
Phil Collins and only Phil Collins will be missed. But who are the extremists making and executing these threats? Is this going to be some political or social commentary from Matt and Trey? A religious or political group, perhaps? The answer?
Our time is near. Soon, gingers will never be made fun of again.
Gingers. Because it's South Park. They, mostly Cartman, make fun of gingers all the time. Of course they had to try and get in on all the immunity. During all this madness, Cartman is on the street with Mitch Connor attempting to track Muhammad down for the celebs until Mitch strikes possibly Cartman's only nerve.
Screw this, Connor. Find yourself another partner. Guess I won't tell you about your father. My father? Thought that might get your attention.
What's scarier, that Mitch is Cartman's intrusive thoughts or his inner psyche? Either way, that's where his mind goes, and that's just sad. Also really funny. With a tough decision to make, South Park decides in a threat of violence to hand Muhammad over to the gingers. This, of course, does not sit well with the celebrities.
You're gonna give Muhammad to gingers instead of us just because they are threatening you with violence? Well, yeah.
If this episode has taught us anything, is that Randy missed his calling as a cable network executive. Desperate to secure Muhammad's powers, the celebrities resort to another classic South Park callback, Mecha Streisand.
There she is, Tom. Barbara Streisand.
My God, she's even more terrifying than I remembered.
the most dangerous celebrity of them all. We get a lengthy awakening sequence parodying anime openings and a cinematic Mr. Hat appearance as Cartman interrogates him over revealing who his father is.
Hello, kids. It's me, Mr. Hat.
Good to see you, Hat. Hell of an ad, isn't it?
I don't believe I know you.
All alongside a standoff with the bomb-wielding gingers, setting things up perfectly for part 2. But before we get into that, we need to backtrack a little because of what happened in between the broadcasts of these 2 episodes. To put it lightly, Southpark became the center of attention because of the episode you just saw. Immediately after airing 200, Southpark received death threats from an online website known as Revolution Muslim. The site posted the legitimate addresses of Matt and Trey's house, alongside suggesting they may end up like Theo van Gogh, a Dutch filmmaker who was murdered after making a film critical of Islam. But why wasn't this a big deal when Muhammad was shown uncensored back in Super Best Friends, as we previously mentioned?
Muhammad, the Muslim prophet with the powers of flame.
Well, it just wasn't a big deal. So what caused Comedy Central and Viacom to panic? The answer is actually quite simple there. Threats! In 2005, 4 years after the initial broadcast of Super Best Friends, a Dutch newspaper posted some cartoons depicting Muhammad. This upset Muslims worldwide and led to several riots, also worldwide. But did anything happen to the Danish newspaper company that published the cartoons? Nah, they just had threats made against them. That's pretty much it. So yeah, nothing ever actually transpired. Regardless, it was around this time Super Best Friends was removed from the Southpark website and broadcast. It was a major international issue, so much so that it inspired Matt and Trey to make the Cartoon Wars 2-parter. The entire episode is built around why Muhammad shouldn't be censored and how you can't give in to terrorism.
People can get hurt. That's how works. You're allowing to work.
But when the time finally came for the uncensored scene of Muhammad to be broadcast, Comedy Central caved in and blacked it out anyway. Still worried about threats being made to the studio. Even still, the episodes aired again and again afterwards, so what changed? Why are all of these episodes absent from streaming and television now? Well, following 200, Matt and Trey did not respond to the threats. After coming under fire, Revolution Muslim insisted they weren't threatening, just warning Matt and Trey about what could possibly happen to them. So, empty internet threats. What did Comedy Central do? Well, I know you're on the edge of your seats, so let's get into 201, and then we'll talk about what Comedy Central did. To start things off, we get a pretty hilarious Vietnam War parody.
I tried to sit it out as much as I could.
What's the matter, Connor? Don't like a little blood?
No, I don't like a little blood. Blood ain't the stuff for 18-year-old boys from Sheboygan.
An 18-year-old boy from Sheboygan who also had to walk uphill both ways in the snow to Saigon, and his Janis Joplin vinyl got scratched. What a tragedy for a sentient double-crossing hand. All the horrors of Nam and all the horrors of not having a dad put Cartman and Mitch in the same place. Interrogating Mr. Garrison over who exactly Cartman's real dad is, who tells them that they stuck to a story to protect someone.
I can't say more. I won't. I'll tell you who has the answer.
And speaking of protecting someone, the people of Southpark are preparing to very carefully and respectfully hand Muhammad over to the Gingers.
Look, Gingers, you said you wanted we got him for you.
We have no way of knowing if is really in there.
No, they aren't saying terrible things, and no, your ears aren't finally going out from AirPod overexposure. Comedy Central broadcasted this episode with every direct mention of Muhammad's name fully censored. Seemingly proving Matt and Trey's point made earlier in 200, Comedy Central gave in to the violent demands and censored the episodes. We'll talk more about why and what this led to, of course, like I said. But for now, just know, the censorship was not Matt and Trey approved. But back in Southpark, and not the real world, although Southpark influences the real world now, so who's to say, it's revealed that it was never Muhammad in the bear costume, but Santa Claus instead. Is that a sin for people whose religion is the holiday season? Probably not. With destruction imminent, the people of Southpark call on.
We've got a distress signal coming in on the Super Best screen.
Super Best fans, you've got to help us! The Casa Bonita is under attack!
Casa Bonita, the only thing in Colorado worth saving from Mecha Streisand destruction. At Dr. Mephisto's office, we get a glimpse of Cartman doing whatever he can to uncover the truth behind his father's identity, and attempting to break into Dr. Mephisto's place leads to some interesting tactics.
Why, it's an African-American man, Kevin. What do you want?
Yo, man, sorry to bother you, but there's been an accident down the street, man.
Yeah, maybe this episode wouldn't have made it long on streaming, even without the Muhammad drama.
Okay, I see. I guess I understand. You just don't want to let a black man in your house.
Please, it isn't that at all.
Thought things had changed, though. Thought when we got a black president, things would be different.
Blackface, I mean black hand is totally unacceptable. Back in town, Mecha Streisand is wreaking havoc, killing forgotten one-offs like Pip and destroying Southpark staples like raisins and country kitchen buffet.
Holy crap!
With the celebrities demanding to see Muhammad, it's revealed he is MIA. That is, until we get to see what Kenny has been up to the whole time, which has been, get this, babysitting Muhammad. Big responsibilities there.
Oh, thank God. Hey, really sorry about all this, dude.
A Jew thanking the prophet of the Muslim faith. The real world really could learn from South Park if they just listen. Hatching up a plan to appease everyone and keep Muhammad safe, Kyle sneaks the prophet away as the super best friends show up to counter Mecha Streisand. All this is going on at the exact same time Cartman's about to pry the truth about his dad from Dr. Mephisto when...
Come on, the door's open. Dr. Mephisto, we need your help.
Oh, for crying out loud, now everybody's letting themselves in.
Mephisto, you invite a lot of chaos in. You can't blame the door for this one. With a name like Mephisto, come on, you're asking the universe for it, dude. Kyle pleads with Mephisto to clone Muhammad, who agrees. Of course, this pisses Cartman off, who's only concerned with finding out who his dad is. But come on, Cartman, the fate of the world takes priority over who's your daddy.
No. He's not doing anything except explaining who my father is. Dude, nobody gives a crap about who your stupid father is. It's all that matters. Dude, that doesn't matter to people right now. Muhammad is an important issue with actual ethical ramifications. I guarantee you, people care way more about who my father is.
With only time for Mephisto to handle one of the many complicated and important things going on in his lab, the Gingers take advantage and find a way in.
Oh crap, the Gingers! Gingers, no!
The only thing that can bring out fear in Mr. Eric Cartman. With Muhammad, Kyle, and Stan in their possession, the Gingers begin making demands. They want access to the goo machine and are willing to share Muhammad with the celebrities to get it. Under orders of their boss, which if you know anything about South Park Gingers, you might have seen this one coming.
Revenge is a dish best served chili. Scott Tenorman? Ew.
Oh, golly gooper, Scott Tenorman. You know, Scott Tenorman. Scott Eric Cartman killed my parents and tricked me into eating them via a bowl of chili, Tenorman. Yeah, we aren't messing around here. And that carnival background to mimic the chili con that Cartman set up, this is just downright Joker levels of derangement.
Eric Cartman, I've waited a long time for this.
But to be fair, Cartman started it. Sitting aside Mecha Streisand with some sleight of hand 70s soft house music antics, the super best friends turn their sights to the celebrities who are busy activating Muhammad's invulnerability to being made fun of.
Yes! I can feel it! I can feel the power to not be ridiculed flowing through my veins!
Man, if celebrities could actually do this, maybe that's what they think Scientology will give them. I mean, now we're talking about Tom Cruise here. Back with Cartman, Scott reveals he knows the name of Eric's dad and that everyone in town has been hiding it from him to protect the Denver Broncos.
There was a right tackle who had an illegitimate child with your of a mom. Everyone here covered it up to protect the Bronco name.
And that's where the realistic stuff ends, as it's revealed very chillingly, very harrowingly who Eric's dad is, and you might want to sit down for this one, because it's revealed that Eric's dad was Scott's dad, Jack Tenorman.
It's true. Jack Tenorman was your father.
So yeah, Eric killed his own dad and fed him to his half-brother. And to be fair, Cartman is torn up about it, but that doesn't change the fact that that's some messed up stuff. Plus, I think it's a pretty good way to tie up the decades-old question of who Cartman's dad is with some finality and comedic karma. It's just a shame it's lost in an episode that'll never be aired again.
Now eat your chili! The super best friends? Oh no!
The implication that Scott Tenorman knows who the super best friends are is great. Whoever this Jack Tenorman dude is, he has some super villain genes in him. With the celebrities, Gingers, super best friends, and seemingly everyone else that's ever visited South Park in one place, a giant battle assumes until Stan makes an off-color joke about Tom Cruise and the super best friend's semen.
I'll get you, Tom Cruise!
Hey, look, Tom Cruise has semen on his back.
What did you say?
Which, to Tom's shock, takes away his censor bar.
Reiner, you said the goo machine would work, but I got made fun of!
That's because there is no goo, Mr. Cruise. You see, I learned something today.
Nope, your ears are fine, and no, this isn't Matt and Trey going overboard with a meta-censorship gag. This entire final monologue by Kyle, Jesus, and Santa Claus was only ever released censored. The uncut version has never been officially released, not on broadcast, not even on the DVD box sets. The episode did a great job making all these great callbacks to the series' past, answered a question fans have been asking for years, and was hilarious as all hell, but that ending, if you've spent all this time tracking down this episode just for the final message to be blurred out, well, like anything else, being told not to do or see something is just gonna make you want to see it more. And in 2014, 4 years after the initial broadcast of 201, the uncut version of the speech was leaked on 4chan.
If there's anything we've all learned, it's that people works.
That's right, friends. All you need to do is instill fear and be willing to hurt people.
If you don't want to be made fun of anymore, all you need are guns and bombs to get people to stop.
And yeah, the uncut clip says it all really well. It really makes Comedy Central look bad. Obviously, violence is not the answer, and making physical threats to get what you want is never the right way to live your life and go about anything, much less comedy. Giving into violence just empowers that attitude even more. By bending the knee and allowing these threats to work, they're just giving more people more of a reason to resort to terrorism to get what they want. So seeing Jesus, Santa Claus, and Kyle Broflovsky, three iconic pillars of cultural morality, give violence and a resounding okay is Matt and Trey's way of saying, well, I guess this is the message Comedy Central wants us to send. So skibbity-doo-dah, here it is, the cherry on top, and a heavy drizzling of sarcasm to boot. And it still ended up getting censored. The irony can be everything but lost. Anywho, the episode ends with Cartman letting out years of complicated feelings that just got even worse.
My dad was Scott Tenorman's dad. Don't you guys realize what that means? Yeah, dude, we know what it means. My dad was a ginger.
Half soulless. I feel like that's actually more soul than you'd expect from Cartman. With Southpark repaired and Cartman finally at some peace with his dad situation, there's just one very important fudge packer who still hasn't gotten what he wants. A place to live out his life free of mean humans mocking him. And luckily for him, Stan and Kyle, they know just the place.
Oh, please, can you show me where?
We'll do better than that. We'll help you get there.
I mean, if you want to escape humiliation, you might as well escape oxygen as well. Following the broadcast of 201, a true media firestorm erupted with free speech critics, media professionals, and artists all disagreeing with Comedy Central's decision to give in to threats. Matt and Trey spoke through Southpark Studios following 201, saying they stand by everything they've ever done on Southpark and that Comedy Central altered the episode against their wishes. But other than that, they've never really addressed the controversy. I mean, why would they? They said all they had to then. They have their beliefs and they've stuck with them. And today, they're worth more money than ever. So clearly the censorship controversy didn't hurt their end. And outside of a bomb threat near a Viacom office in Times Square a few months after that, which the police didn't even attribute to South Park, no direct threats were ever made against Comedy Central or Matt and Trey. Yet to this day, the episode is unavailable to watch, and in the years following, both Cartoon War episodes were taken off streaming. Heck, if it wasn't for some leaders on 4chan, we still wouldn't have the audio of Kyle's uncensored speech. In 2020, when South Park moved to Paramount, HBO Max refused to add all the Muhammad episodes, Super Best Friends, both Cartoon Wars episodes, and 200 and 201. South Park hasn't really returned to the issue in the years since then, so is the story over? Will this episode ever get officially uncensored? Who knows? South Park always hits us with the unexpected, so these episodes may come back, or they may just stay lost forever. What I do know is that there's more South Park goodness for you to watch if you click on the screen now.
Yes! I'm so good at my job.